Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. If you are just joining us tonight, this is it's a very warm welcome to you, and we are delighted to have your company. My name is Alan Hennessy from Kompass Media, and he is.
I'm Trevor Lorkings, known as the Digital Alchemist. Good evening.
Yeah, yes.
Afternoon,
How are
morning,
you?
wherever you
How
are.
are you? Oh, we already have one. Niall, how are you?
Yeah, it's good. One in the
How
house.
are you? One in the house. Yes, indeed. Good evening to you. Welcome on in. This is, yes, it's a new series. Basically, you may know myself and Trevor from previous series from like the social media talks, or social media. Is it social? Yeah, so it was social media talks.
Yeah, social talk hour, things like that.
Social talk hour, but we also as well have our very own podcast called Curious Fire, which we'll tell you a little bit about later on. But tonight we are here for a specific reason, and the specific reason is we are, that's a very hard word to say, isn't it? We are going to be talking all about exploring WordPress, and over the next few weeks we have some fantastic insights into the world of WordPress. So if it's one of those I suppose if it's one of those things that you say, create a WordPress website for me, and it's fairly easy. Well, and you've opened it up and you've gone, where do I start? Well, this is the right place to start, because we're going to have a look at it and give you a little bit more insight. So I am Alan Hennessy from Kompass Media, social media manager, trainer, and keynote speaker, also podcaster. And if you want to find out more about me, you can visit the website at compassmedia.ie. Trevor, explain to everyone who you are.
Yeah, I'm Trevor. I'm known as the Digital Alchemist, and it makes me realise I've been designing websites for 21 years now. 21 years.
So you have a bit of experience in this field.
So I've got half an idea, hopefully, what I'm doing. So I've been about before WordPress existed. So, I've kind of started from the days of when there was very little to try and work out how to do web design and work my way through. And I've probably lived with WordPress, probably not quite since day one, but probably, I reckon, I was thinking early day, how long have I used WordPress? Probably about 10 years. And I kind of think the last probably 5 years, it has significantly grown more and more and more, and becoming more and more of a popular platform to develop websites. And shrouded in a lot of confusion. A lot of people I speak to get really confused, or they don't know where to start, or if they get started, they get stuck, and it sort of gets them a bit troublesome. So they sort of fly, think, I want to use one of those other new fancy website things because they're bound to be a lot easier. And who knows? Whoever said web design was meant to be easy? That's the assumption that, it should be really easy. It's only chucking text and pictures on the screen, isn't it? How hard can it be? But it's like anything, it's easy if you know what you're doing. So we're trying to run these series, probably try and do them weekly, just to demystify web design and the focus really on WordPress, because it is such a powerful platform. And the best bit about it is free.
That's another thing. Just to remind you guys, if you are watching us, do pop comments and questions you have in the chat below. We are delighted to answer any questions, and if we can answer them tonight, we will definitely come back to you. But also jump in there and tell us where you are watching us from as well, because we really would like to know, and it's interesting as well to see who we have. So just looking here, we have our core contingency is a cat. Now, I was never very good with Irish, guys, so I'm going to say cat. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But welcome. It's great to see you. And we also have Noel as well, Noel Davison as well. Well done, streaming loud and clear. Fantastic. Good. So as I said, guys, if you want, do drop your questions into the chat and let us know exactly what your questions are. We would love to know. And we also say hello to Niall, who is from Glam Galway. Yes, indeed. There we go. Good man, Niall. Great to see you as well. Thanks for joining us tonight. So, Trevor, I suppose the big question is and it's a question that I get asked many a time, is like, I want to create a website, and we have, there's a lot of different There's actually a lot of different, I suppose, these website packages that are available and stuff like that. So, like the types of, say, Wix. What have I got here? I wrote it down just beyond the safe side. Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, Joomla. There's all of these different websites, but I do think WordPress is probably the main one that I would sort of suggest to people to use, because I think there's so much you can do with it. And I think that's probably one of the big key benefits of it, you know?
I mean, they all have a bit of a place. I mean, if you go back to, what is a website? A website is what HTML code, and that's where I started programming HTML code from scratch, like in Notepad or something, and I actually learned the raw code. But the way the internet's advanced and the website's advanced, programming it raw is a pretty tricky thing to do. So these tools have come along, so you don't have to worry too much about the coding. You can use the interfaces to make it easier to drag and drop pictures and text and line things up and make things look really good. So they are just that tool that creates the HTML code for you. The HTML code still exists behind the scenes. Nothing's changed in that world. It's still there, but there's this layer in front just to make life easy. It's probably like, using Word to write a letter rather than a typewriter. It's still letters on a page, but you make it easier. So the thing about WordPress, if you go back to when it started, it was a blogging platform. When this blogging thing came out, and we thought, you got to do blogging. That's the latest thing back in the whenever it was. And WordPress, hence its name, was designed for sort of electronic publishing of blogs. And that's its root. And that's why a lot of it's still orientated around sort of the blogging platform rather than dedicated web design. But it does both now. And the one thing with WordPress, one, it's free. And two, it's open source. So you can get a complete download of the software, if you like, which you can then use. And if you're clever enough, you can play with it, edit it, change it, make updates to it yourself if you want to. Do it like with it. That's what you can do. Whereas these other platforms, you're playing by their rules. So if you have, say, a Squarespace site, you're in the hands of Squarespace. Right. And if it doesn't do what you want it to do, that's it. You can't make it do it. Okay, it's very functional. It's got lots of features, but there will be times when you think, I wonder if I just tweak this. I wonder if it would just add that on. No, if it doesn't do it, it doesn't do it. Whereas WordPress does give you that flexibility, and it's been about so long. There are developers, we can talk about plugins later, that will add extras to WordPress that you can bolt on for extra features. So that's the freedom it gives you, and you've got a copy of that. And that's what I like about it. You're not stuck by the platform. I know, Weebly is another one which I've used because I know some people that have used it. I tried with it, playing with it, and it's good. To get started, it's brilliant, but it has lots of limitations. I was trying to help someone the other day with doing the meta tags and meta images and that kind of thing, and it's like it was a real headache to try and get it to do it, and then it couldn't actually do what I wanted it to do, and then you're stuck. And that's it. You cannot change it. You can't phone Weebly up. So could you just tweak it for me? No, that's the platform. So this is the thing with WordPress. It has got that real degree of flexibility, and you can tweak what you want to tweak with plugins. And if you're clever enough, or you can hire someone to do it, you can tweak it a bit further.
Yeah, and I think that's beauty. Yeah, and I think that's the great thing. That's the thing that has always drawn me towards WordPress, because of the plugins and the stuff like that, the added extras. And I do find though that a lot of people will say to me, "Oh, well, I got this WordPress site, but how can I get it to be like yours?" And I go, "Okay, well, that takes a bit of a while to learn and understand." But I think it shows the versatility of it, that you can actually do that, what you can do with it. And there's a lot of websites that I've gone on that said, "Oh my God, that's a great kick." You know what I mean? That's a great piece on that. Oh, I must look at that myself. And, there is add-ons, as you say, that you can use, and I think that's the best part of it. I'm just looking at one of the just a few of the comments here. Say hello to a few people. David Byrne is in. We also have Noel is asking the question, and has Trevor moved to one of the visual creator plugins for WordPress, Elementor or Diva? We will have a look at that, guys. We will talk about that.
The quick answer is those two I haven't, but I have got others which we can explore. this week, next week, or another week. So yeah.
Yeah, we also say hello to Darren Harris, who says, "Gents, love your work. Happy to give testimonies. Both the lads here, highly competitive individual and competent individuals. I had the pleasure of working with both of them." So, yes, indeed. Thanks, Darren, for coming in as well. I suppose the easiest way to this is to probably to jump in and have an actual look at the actual platform. So I have.
Let's give you a starter for that. There's two main ways to get into WordPress, if you like.
Okay, I suppose that's the easiest way, isn't it?
If you've ever gone
jumping ahead,
if you've ever Googled WordPress, you'll find google.org and google.com. Okay, now .com, you can just sign up for an account online with WordPress, and I think they have free accounts or slightly more professional ones you can pay for. And you can have it online with WordPress, and different limitations on which account you have and what you can do with it. I would say if you're serious about business and you want more than just sort of a hobby blog or a hobby website, I wouldn't bother with that. I would go for the WordPress.org, was where you actually download like the package software, but then you have to host it somewhere on a hosting account. And I know a lot of people go, hosting, I don't know how to, with servers and all that kind of thing. But I tell you, nowadays, there are so many options with WordPress hosting. I help people get started on it, and I'm putting them in the right direction. So it's not as technical or as bad as you think it may be. But it gives you the control that if you've got a hosting account you're running and paying for, you can then put WordPress on it, and it's kind of like yours. So instead of rented space on some other system, you're in control of that. So if you want to move it, upgrade it, change it, it's relatively easy to do that. So that's the route we'll go down. And if we jump to the screen, press your magic buttons, we can look at the wonders of a new WordPress installation and be greatly inspired.
Yes, let me just I've tried. It's comical here. I'm trying to get everything up and running.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. So, yes.
So this is the magic of, if you ever get a new WordPress install and the bare bones of it, this is what you're going to get. And I know what a lot of people say, what? It doesn't really show me much. What's it do? And if we actually look at the standard website it gives you to look at, that's the website, Hello World website. And again, you look at it and think, well, that don't look much of a website, does it? And this is, I think, is the stumbling block of WordPress. It puts people off. It doesn't look pretty. It looks a bit clunky, and they're like, well, what do I do? And we'll explore in other weeks. The power of WordPress is all in the themes and the plugins and the bits you plug into it, if you like, you bolt into it to make it usable. Because again, you have to remember the guts of this is a blogging platform, and blogging technology behind the scenes, really, when it comes to it, is just written articles. It's text and a few pictures, monthly, weekly, whenever you publish them, and that's it. It's technically, behind the scenes, relatively basic, which is why WordPress, I don't think, has ever got ahead like the other ones. Look a bit more interesting. But this is what you get. And if we go down the left-hand side here, we've got a few areas which start with posts. And posts are blog posts, if you like. That's where it comes from. And that's where you will put in posts, edit posts, and doing your blog. And a blog post is loaded in the system in chronological order, in like descending dates. The older ones go further down the page. I think most people probably have read a blog on other people's sites. And it's where you just keep adding extra articles, say weekly, monthly, ad hoc, whenever you feel like it. Most people end up ad hoc because they start off with good intentions. I want to do one every week until week 3, and you go, I'll do it next week.
What am I going to talk about?
Right. But,
then you just put up crap on it as well.
And the point of that is it's kind of a fairly similar format on each post as it comes through by the date. But as you can also see in this menu here, you've got categories and tags, which gives you a bit more depth to better organize your posts. So, if you think, writing a diary every day, and you think, what was I wrote 3 months ago about, whatever it was, it'd be difficult to wade back through all the posts to go and read it. Whereas if each post you assign a category or categories to it, or tags, you can then start to organize them. So, if I'm doing blog posts about web design, I can put it in the web design category. If I then do about graphic design, I can put it in the graphic design category. So if you're then on my website and you're interested in web design, you can click on the web design category and see all the posts that I've put into that category. So you can start to filter them and see more clearly what's there to try and categorize, years worth of posts. So that's posts.
There's
Sorry.
also with the categories,
Yeah.
is that, and I know I'm sort of jumping ahead here, but just as a question is like I find that it's actually very good because I like all my blog posts, I will always give them a category and I'll
Mm,
always give them tags, and I think
yeah.
that's something I've learned from you, and I think that's very important because it's also good. Like I have it on the sidebar type of thing where people can actually like I have, it'll give a list of the categories and then I'm able to, people can jump to. So if
Yeah.
it's say LinkedIn or if it's Twitter or something like that, that they can jump and it'll bring them straight to the
Yeah.
amount of like the Twitter post or the Twitter
Mm,
blog post that I've wrote.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think I think that's always a great idea to have that
Mm,
option there, and
yeah.
it should be sort of, I suppose in the sense, it's the sense of that, if you're writing a blog post, you're going to be writing content anyway. So you're going to be writing words on it.
Mm,
So I think people forget that them sidebars or whatever, and I know we'll go into that in
mm,
over the next couple of weeks as well in more detail, but it's making sure that at the end of every time you write a blog post is
yeah.
to give them a category and give them a tag,
Yeah.
so it becomes the norm of what you're doing type of thing.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it's certainly a very good way to help people categorize, which is what's called category,
Mm,
when they're reading. Like I say, they can read an article you've written, and if that's in the Twitter category, they think, oh, I'll look at more Twitter articles. It
yeah.
just saves having to read. If you do one a week and you've got a blog that's 10 years old, that's a lot of posts to wade through to find stuff. So it just makes it easy to find the detail. So
Mm,
so
mm,
that's kind of posts, which I think most people understand. Blog posts, that's what it is. If we go down to media, it's quite simply, media is where you keep media, typically all your pictures. I know Niall asked a question about video. You can add videos into media as well. If you want to
mm,
upload video, you can upload, say, PDF files. If you want to do downloads, ebooks or guides, PDF file downloads, you can load them into your media. And that puts them all there under one place, so you can find them if you then want to put them into a post or a page later on or link to them. So that's just uploading visuals into that category, into that area there. The next one
mm,
is pages, and pages are, in essence, in terms of kind of layout design, they're similar to posts. You can put pictures
mm,
and text and design it, but they're a bit more static. So, if you think about their sort of basic website, you're going to have a home page. That would be a page. You'll have, say, an About Us page. It's another page about us. You'll have a contact page.
mm,
You'll have a services page, an FAQ page. They're web pages. So they don't go in a long list by date order that you can then sort of filter out. They're just standalone static pages. But in terms of designing, entering content, they all look very similar to a post. And I know sometimes when I put stuff in, I've typed something into a post when it should have been a page, and when you're late at night and you have had a long day. But
mm,
that's the key difference. Static standalone pages. The thing you can have with pages is then, and this is something all websites do, and something I will say to people, don't worry about the technology first, get this right first. It's the structure of your pages. So if you're going to do, say, let's say basic website, home, about, services, and then you've got, and I was working on a plumber, so the plumber does 24-hour call outs, kitchen plumbing, bathroom plumbing, for example. It's 3 services.
mm.
The trick is there to layer it, that those 3 services come within the services page. So you start to build 2 levels to break the
All right.
website
Yeah.
into sections, if that makes sense. So rather
Yeah.
than just have a very flat website where you've got page goes forever, you start bringing them into sections. So we'll look at the navigation menu system in a little bit. But on the navigation at the top or wherever it is, you'll have home, about, services. And then services will break down into the specific services you're going to look at underneath there.
Mm.
And it starts to funnel people through the website, which is a key bit of web design and helping people navigate through a site. Not just WordPress, any website. That's that sort of structure you think about. So pages can have, I wouldn't call them sub-pages as such, but you can give them like a parent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the services is a parent page, and then the plumbing, the bathroom fitting, whatever, will be sub-child pages of that services page.
Mm.
And once the website gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that's why you need to really stand back and think, how are you going to structure those levels? And you can have as many levels as you want. Some big sites may have 4 or 5, 6 levels. It just gets with a bit of a beast to sort of manage. But that's where you need to look at your pages and think, how are you going to put them together to create the structure of that site.
And I think that's very important that I'm doing that. And I know this is sort of a sidebar to what we're talking about, but I do believe that, like I always go back to the thinking of is that, when people come on a website, they're coming on a website, they're coming to find out information quickly and, not too much having to go and search and stuff like that. So I always say, the easiest way is have your top bar with, as you say, your home, your about page, and then whatever be services or products or whatever the and then from there, so people know that, okay, well, I'm going on to Kompass Media, or I'm going on to the Digital Alchemist page because I'm looking for graphic design, or I'm looking for social media training. Well, what is that? That is a service. Okay, so it has to be in the top. So it's making it as simple and as efficient, I suppose, as well, for someone to find something. Because isn't it that what they say is after 30 seconds or something, you're likely to lose someone if they can't find something quick enough.
To me, it's all down to clarity. And for so much I know we talk about, it's just go back to a bricks and mortar shop. If you're selling product, go back to a shop. You go into a big department store, you walk in the front door, you get to the escalator, and there's a big signboard, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not one football-sized warehouse of stuff that you've got to wander around trying to find, gent shoes. There's a signboard that will say, fashion, men's fashion, women, homewares, electrical, everything. All right, level 2, electrical. You get to the electrical department, it'd be like, well, there's the TVs, there's the computers, there's the radio. All right, okay, radios, and it's breaking down these steps to lead people through.
Yeah. Step
by step by step. Whereas if you walked in and literally it was a football pitch full of stock with no signs, and you think, well, I want to buy a radio. Where on earth am I going to find that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just you're overwhelmed. So it's
and the other side,
big sites. Smaller sites probably not so bad, but once you get probably beyond kind of 5 or 6 pages, you've got to start thinking of that structure to lead people through your site.
And the other side of that is as you say, if someone walks into that warehouse that doesn't have any signs and it's just one big huge amount, what are you going to do? You're going to say, here, I'll go down the road to the next shop that has that. And then, and that's exactly the same with websites. So keeping it smart and keeping it simple has huge amount of benefits, because it will also entice people to come back to your website, because if they found it easy the first time, they're going to come back and find it again, and they're going to look for whatever they need because they know the idea of the structure of the website. So key important factors to keep in mind, I suppose, in any website design, I suppose.
Any website design. It's not just WordPress. Every website will have a menu, navigation system, and pages. So it's I think the common trap people fall into when they're designing their own websites, they look at their own website every day of the week while they're designing it. Customers, it's probably the first time they've arrived, and you really got to step back and think, if I don't know what I sell, can I find it? And it's not many people do that. So anyway, that's your pages. Let's move on down. I'll just get very confused which order it is. Comments is the next one. Now this harks back to the blogging days. When blogging first started, it was you put a post up, put a title and a picture and all your writing, and then at the bottom, people could comment. So I love your post, or can you answer this question, etc., etc. And the big thing of blogging in the early days, and it is some of the major blogs now, is getting comments for people having discussions about the post. And on the posts that we looked up there, you can turn on and off the option, and there are settings you can choose how to manage comments. But that's where the comments will start appearing once people start leaving comments on your posts, and you go in there and you can moderate them, and various settings we look into. But that's where you're managing there. Pages technically could have comments. As default, they're turned off because it's kind of different animal, really. You're not generally on posts, you're kind of wanting comments and you want that interaction if you're running a blogging community kind of thing. Whereas pages are more just static information as such, which don't really encourage commenting. So pages typically don't have commenting on them. You could switch on if you want to, if you had a specific need for it, but it's not a popular option. So basically that's where your comments will pop up there, and you'll see when people comment on your blog, you'll see on the menu system a little number next to comments, so you can see whether you've got 6 numbers or whatever. So appearance. this is when you
Yes.
get into sort of the nitty gritty of web design.
And
Appearance is the
I'm nearly sure that, you know, that is with, especially with appearance, and I know there's so much in appearance. I think that is going to be one
big one.
huge one,
Yeah,
that we're just going to have to dedicate one whole
yeah.
episode to, because I think it's so important.
I'll quickly go through appearance. This is where we're introducing themes, and out of WordPress you get two standard themes here. They call it 2020 and 2019. I think it's connected to the year. So this is their latest theme, and the theme is kind of like the style of the site. It's kind of your color theme, your fonts, the kind of layout, how it's going to look. There's the menu at the right at the top, or is it slightly down? Where's the logo? That kind of thing. And there are, if you go on the internet search for WordPress themes, there are probably millions of themes by now, and it can be a real minefield to try and find one that's quite how you want. And a lot of people get hung up on, oh, well, this theme's got red boxes and black text. I want blue boxes. I'll look for another theme. You can modify the theme. So if you like the look of it, but the colors are wrong, you can change the colors. But a lot of people I know say, well, I like that theme, but it's the wrong colors. This is where you start changing those details. So themes is a big one to get your head around. Loads of choice. But if I look at, I won't go into customize because there's a million and one options, but customize is where you can then change. So, well, this is the headline font I want. This is the body font, colors, that kind of thing. You can customize that theme. Fairly user friendly. Some themes are more complicated than others, depending on which theme you pick. And some very complex themes can have lots of options, and then, you know, so you have to be careful picking the right theme. You don't want to go too overboard and you get so confused you don't know what you're doing. But that's where you'd customize it. Widgets, like a good widget.
Isn't it like a good old widget?
Yeah, this is kind of theme-ish dependent. So on this theme, we've got these are available widgets, but here it's saying footer 1 and footer 2. So in the current chosen theme, we have two areas at the bottom of the page. If I look at the website, not a lot out there at the moment because it's pretty empty. But you can in here choose what to put in those two boxes at the bottom. And you can drag and drop from, if you want categories or recent posts or search, whatever you need, you can drag them and edit them and move them around between the two footers. That will be theme dependent. You know, some themes will have a header, widget area, they'll have sidebar areas. It does depend on the choice of theme. And that's why getting the right theme is the knack of working with it. Because in this theme, you think, well, I want a header widget. There isn't one. So that theme's not going to be any good for you if you want to have a header widget right at the top. So, well, I want to add extra bits and pieces into the header of the page. And, you know, this is the basic WordPress theme to get you started. Others say we'll have more complicated options. So that's widgets, and there's loads of widgets. And again, that will be kind of theme dependent, but that's where you manage those areas. Menus is the next one. And this hasn't got a menu at the moment. But here you will build a list. This will give you your pages, posts, you know, custom links, and you can go, okay, well, I want to click those pages or posts and put them into a menu system to build your menu structure. So you can add in the home, the about, the services, then you can have the sub-services, and then you'll link those to the pages that you've built. And
it's sort of it's in another way. I suppose it's a navigational bar as well.
Yeah,
so when you so on your homepage, it'll automatically show up, and well, it'll show, I suppose, right across the whole site of them. But it's, as you say, you know, you bring them over into the menu, and then you can align them as well within that as well, which is I like the idea of being able to have that, I suppose, that control on the actual menu, the way the menu is actually going to sit. And it's good because you can change it and mix it up as you need to do it.
This page is really sort of kind of a drag and drop. If you've got your menu listing, well, actually I want services before about, you just pick it, drag it, move it in it, and save it. So again, depending on your theme, you're going to have typically a main navigation bar at the top pretty much most of the time, but you can add other menus. You know, a lot of websites might have a mini menu in the footer of, say, key pages rather than perhaps single page, or the headline pages. So you can create a second menu, and then you can put it saying at one of those footer widgets. That's another trick you can do. You can build as many menus as you want, you know, but generally you're not going to want that many menus on a basic website. It's going to give you the top ones. But that's how you manage your menus. Background customization. That's going to go into settings here, so I could have an image background if I wanted to select an image in this theme. And again, that's theme dependent how that works. I won't worry about changing my image. Theme editor, this is where it all gets a bit scary, and it does warn you, unless you know what you're doing, don't do that. So we'll go back.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. What I would say there is if you don't know how to write code, don't bother going in there. Yeah. Don't go near it.
It is very good to give you that warning, because if you go in there and get it wrong, you can make a fair big mistake. So I spend my life in that section, but
yeah, well, that's what I would say is that was going to be my next comment is if you need to go into Team Editor, you don't do it yourself, you ring Trevor. Yeah. That's the easiest way, because it is, unless you know what you're doing, I think it's very it can actually screw up your website.
Oh, it's a great site. Yeah, I mean, you just put a full stop in the wrong place, your website goes down, so so leave that alone.
You know what I mean? And
it's good to know it's there, that it's good to know it's there, that it can be edited if someone knows what they're doing, and that again, that's the power of WordPress, that you can edit it if you know what you're doing. So anyway, move on to plugins. Plugins is a huge subject. Along with themes and plugins, they're the two big areas where you need to go somewhere and download and install other things. And there's a world of people out there producing all this content, good, bad, and indifferent. And that's the knack I've spent probably a long time researching themes and plugins over the years, and I've found the ones I like, that I know work, they're reliable, they do what they say. I've found many plugins that aren't great, and there are some bad plugins out there which aren't the best in the world. But these are the two that come with WordPress as standard. Hello Dolly, I'm not sure why that's there. I think it's been there since day one, and now we can delete it. Complete waste of time. Don't worry about it. And then we have an anti-spam one. If you have a contact form, that can work with the contact form to stop people spamming your contact form. If you want to fill in your form to contact us forms, and that's there. But this is where you'll build up your list of plugins and manage plugins as you go. And plugins are just, I say, little bits of code. They could be a little bit of code or a big bit of code, but they're a chunk of code, say you download from the internet, install on your site, and it adds functionality. So if I think some of the popular ones I've got, I'll have a backup plugin, I'll have a page duplication plugin, I'll have a security plugin.
Slider's another one. Slider
plugin. And the other one that fits in here, which sort of overlaps with the theme, I know someone mentioned earlier about the Divi and Elementor, they're page builder plugins that sort of go hand in hand with the theme. So they make it easier to design your pages. We can go into those kind of page building tools in another episode, but there are a lot of people like the sort of the drag and drop feel of designing, and that's where you'll get, say, an Elementor theme and an Elementor plugin to help you design the layout of your page. And there's again another world of those, but they're all would be all covered under plugins that are installed there. Let's go down to users. Users, pretty self-explanatory. They're the people who can use the website. And you can add various users in, give them various levels of authority, if you like. So you've got admin users, you've got editors, subscribers, different levels to do different things. So you could have people obviously administering the whole site, designing it, but you could say if you've got somebody doing your blog for you, you could give the blog person just the rights just to edit the blog, edit and publish the blog. You could say, well, you can just write blogs they're edited, so or posted and published, that kind of thing. So you can control the different levels, and there are other plugins you can get to put a very detailed level of authority or different logins to do different functions on different bits and pieces. So that's.
I think at the end of the day as well, though, like with having obviously your users, you'll know who's going to be doing what, and you give them the right amount of permissions that you need to do.
Precisely.
And it also guides you through it as well. So it's not a case of where it's just like, okay, well, what do I do here? It'll actually explain it on each of the pages. So so it's good to know that one.
Yeah, that's powerful. Tools are a little bit techie. Import and exporting, raising data and network setup, a bit advanced there. I probably don't spend a lot of time on the tools option, but that's where maybe I find some plugins, if they're more of a technical tool thing, will insert themselves under tools, if you like. So if you're looking for a plugin you've lost, it's probably hidden under tools, but that's an area there. Settings is the main another main area, a bit like appearance configuration, but this is more the technical end of setting your site and getting it all right once you get started. And we got site titles and addresses where it is, and all you can change dates and times and that kind of thing. If you go into writing, this can give you kind of your default category when you're writing. You've got formats for your posts. Generally, don't touch this too often. It's kind of, day one of installation. Make sure it's as it needs to be. Reading. This is how your homepage, obviously your key page, your website's where people land if they just type in your website address. You can choose whether to start with a homepage or a post page. So if you're, say, running a blog, you choose your posts. If you're running a website, you choose a homepage typically, and that's where you check that. If you're running a blog, you can say how many posts on a page to start with, and this kind of thing, whether you're full text or summary. I mean, some blogs will just have a snippet to start with. Other posts will have they just want the whole article page after page. So you can configure those kind of things. Discussion is coming back to like the comments on your blogs, and there's a lot of settings here about managing how people can reply to your blogs if you want to, because a lot of people nowadays spam all your blog posts. You have to control whether people have to log in or be approved on this kind of thing, whether they're leaving comments. So there's a lot of choice there to manage all your comments. Going back to media, and this is the thing that you get jumbled up with WordPress. You've got media at the top here, which is where you load your media, but down here, media is where you configure your media. It's just, you have to find your way around it. And on this one here, you've got standard image sizes for your website. So when you load a picture in, WordPress will take your picture and create these 3 size images as well as your original. So if you're designing a site and you say, well, actually, my thumbnails, I want 150 square. My medium-sized images, I want 300 by 400 or whatever you need. You can change that there, and that will be the images it creates to keep consistency. So if you're, say, loading your pictures and you think, well, I'm going to build a visual menu system or gallery or something, and you want all the pictures 300 by 400, you can set your medium size to 300, 400, and it will create an image that size for you from your original when you upload your images. And there's a choice of 3 different sizes there. And the other little tick box about organising your pictures into month and year folders, probably handy to do because it makes it easy to say if you want to look at your pictures when you're trying to find something. If you've got a site with a lot of images in. Permalinks is another key area which a lot of people overlook, and this is sort of fairly interesting with SEO of how your website displays your permalink. And a permalink is the extension after like your www.websiteaddress.com/about or /services. It's the / bit, which is your permalink. So the big mistake a lot of people make is they put / about and leave it at that. About what? About anything. It doesn't mean, the word about by itself doesn't mean a great deal. So if you put, say on your website, you could have about digital marketing or about Alan Hennessy, and actually describe what the about is about. Yeah. And like services, you could put digital marketing services, because it's then describe what it's about, and it helps Google kind of tell you what it is. But WordPress, going back to the early days of plain, this would have the website address $p=123, because each post has a number. Behind the scenes, every post and every page has a number. And that's what that would then do. And this is going back to the early days of websites. That's how it worked. But you've got a whole host of options here. So if you were running a blog, you might want year, date, also year, month, day, and then the name of the post. If you're categorizing it by month, if you're saying, well, I'm doing a monthly blog, that might be a way you want to set it, year, month. And so you can, if you want to, you've got custom structure if you want to do it, or you can have by, say, post name. So you have / and this is where you put about Alan or something like that. So that's how you can choose how to structure your permalinks. And it needs a lot of thought to get it right, because what you don't want to do is set it all up and then 3 months, year, 2 years down the line going, I'm just going to change it. Because all that history that Google and search engines will have found from your site will then vanish.
Oh, right. Now that's a very good thing, because that was the next question I was going to ask you, because I know of a particular website that has the day and month, or the day and name. Okay.
Yeah.
And they actually were asking me the other day, is it possible for me to change that? And I went, and that was going to be my question to you, as if I change that, will I have to go in and rename all the pages, or will it automatically do that for me? Because this is a fairly new website.
Well, if it's fairly new, a week or two old, and it's not really got onto Google too much, it's going to work. It'll work. If you change it, the website will change. What you got to think about is Google won't know it's changed. So what you'd have to do is set up a redirect system on all the old pages, the structure, to redirect the old page structure to the new page structure. If you've got 3 pages, that's not too bad. If you've got 300 pages, it's a bit more of a headache. So you can change it, but you have to be aware of the consequences of doing that. So it's best to get it right at the start.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that people don't know about, which is a really good tip there is that if you are doing any type of changes on your website, remember, if they are structural, that Google has probably searched them, well, hopefully, touch wood, if you have done what you're supposed to do, and which we will be explaining over the next couple of weeks, that Google will find it. But as you say, if you do any structural changes, you're going back to, I suppose, in a sense, day one of your website being up there.
Well, with Google you would, but that's where you then need to look at redirects and set up a redirect system. So, if your website is /about and you change it to about Alan Hennessy, you need to put a redirect in from about to about Alan Hennessy. It can be done, but with bigger sites, it can be a bit of a headache going through all the pages and putting all it. So, just get it right to start with, and leave it.
And then you're never going to have that problem. Very good, very good, very good. Brilliant stuff.
So that's permalink. Privacy. This is all your GDPR kind of thing. If your privacy policy, if you've got your own privacy policy, it's kind of a page. WordPress has tried to make it easy so you can sort of have a guide to do it, but that's really a privacy policy. And collapse is your menu. There you go.
Brilliant stuff.
So there you go. WordPress. What else is there to know?
Yeah, so there you go. So that's the end of all the tests. No, but I think just even explaining that, I think what will happen when it does there, Trevor, is it explains what that sidebar is for, and obviously we're going to go into in a lot more detail over on all the different features over the next couple of weeks. But I think as a first episode, I think it's vitally important that we just explain basically the key strokes here to start off with. Like, I love the whole idea of being able to see that side menu and understand. Even I'm learning from that tonight. I've learned a few bits and pieces from that tonight that I haven't got. But I do think it's very important that when someone comes on, that they are the sort of the type of things that they will understand first, because as we move through the process here, we're obviously going to go more in depth. So we will be referring back to episode 1, episode 2, where we talked about that and whatever. So so look, I think that's where we will wrap her up, type of thing, with regards to tonight. But just a few comments here that I've been sort of watching. Niall, David Burns says I'm moving to a WordPress news site, which is fantastic, good stuff. And we'll make sure, David, that you keep in contact with us, and let's know how you're getting on. If you have any questions. Kath, she wrote a note earlier on when we were talking about blogs, saying she tries to write 1 per month, which is very good. Like that again, if you're doing it 1 per month, over a year you have 12 blogs. Over 2 years you've 24. So it's it's all good stuff. And what I would suggest is that if you are writing your blogs, that you are also promoting them across social media as well, and referencing that, because what it is also that does is it attracts more traffic to your website. And if Google sees more traffic onto your website, obviously they are going to then put you up higher in the rankings as well. So it's all adding value to you. And then Kat also says it took her a while to find a team she liked, and hopefully we have one now. And we will be going into teams. We will be talking about teams over the next few weeks as well. So hopefully you enjoyed some of the content we brought to you. If you have any questions, guys, please do put them in the comment section, and we will endeavor to answer them over the next few weeks. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can find me obviously on the Kompass Media page or on the website at compassmedia.ie, and all my details are there. You can also follow me on Twitter and connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you are connecting me with me on any of the platforms, please do let me know that you are coming because you've seen this video here, or you connected with me because you wanted to find out more from this video series. Trevor, how can people get in contact and reach out to you if they want to talk to you in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to find me is digitalalchemist.live website, and all my contact details from my contact page. Or obviously, if you're watching this on my, because I know we're on both Facebook pages. If you're watching this on my Facebook page, then yeah, I'm Digital Alchemist UK. Drop me a message or connect with me there. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can.
Brilliant stuff. And also just reminding you, we, myself and Trevor, do have a podcast that we release every week. Well, we haven't done in the last few weeks, but because we've been crazy busy with everything that's going on. But we have a regular series of podcasts called the Curious Fire Podcast, where we ignite your curiosity. What is it? What is the actual word?
We set your spark. We set your thoughts on fire, don't we? We can ignite the spark.
Well worth checking out. You can find it on Spotify and also on any of the podcast providers as well. But we do hope you will join us again next week for episode 2 of our Exploring WordPress. And guys, do take note of this. We will be putting these up on YouTube as a series of videos as well. And also they will be going up on our websites as well. But as I said, if you need to get in contact with us, please do reach out for us and let us know where you were. And if you're watching this on the replay, guys, please do let us know that you were watching on the replay. We would love to know. Just put in replay and we shall see it there. So guys, until next week, next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we sort of ran over time. We were only sort of be doing we were saying we were going to do a half an hour. We're now just under 50 minutes. So the first one, we wanted to show you enough. So yes, indeed. So guys, thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to join us, and we'll see you next time on our Exploring blah, blah, blah. Where am I going? Exploring WordPress. That's it. I'm trying to do things here. So Trevor, have you any final comments that you want to say?
All I'll say is if you've got a specific area you want to cover, we're quite happy to sort of take your lead on what we do on a week. We're going to obviously work through the sections and web design tips in specific areas, but if you've got a burning area you think I really want to know about, plugins or something, then drop us a message somewhere, and we're quite happy to sort of focus on that to answer your questions rather than just randomly picking anything that we feel we want to talk about. So do let us know.
Brilliant stuff. So guys, until next week at the same time, we're gonna have to come up with a saying. We're going to have to come up because we have a number of different sayings. I'll just use my one. Be social. Trevor?
Keep exploring.
Hey, I love it. That's what we're going to do. All right, guys. Until next time, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.